Sir, we are live now.
All right. So good evening and welcome all the students on behalf of CareerX, ODM Public School. I'm inviting all of you to the first expert talk series. That's to start with biotechnology. So we have here today as a resource person, Dr. Gopal Chowdhary. It's my pleasure to invite him, to welcome him, because we have been together as professionals for the last 5 to 6 years. We are known to each other and a wonderful professional and have an in-depth knowledge about, especially in the field of biotechnology. So let me introduce quickly so that all of you know that what this gentleman is. Dr. Gopal Chowdhary has a master's in plant sciences and a PhD in plant biotechnology. He continued his postdoctoral research in the same field at University of Stavanger, Norway. So, excuse me if I'm pronunciation-wise I'm going wrong. Thereafter, he worked as assistant professor at University of Stavanger, Norway. During his tenure at Norway, he was involved in cutting-edge research in the fields of plant biotechnology in Norwegian Research Council and European Union funded projects. Thereafter, he joined at School of Biotechnology at KIT University, where he is actively involved in teaching and research. He has received research funding from various government funding agencies. He has published his work in research journals and international repute. Sir, welcome to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Students, a few instructions to all of you before we start moving. This is a course of discussion. This is a conversation. This is unlike the previous sessions where I was sharing a PPT and one by one I was telling you about career in science, arts, commerce, humanities, competitive and vocational. This is going to be different, where this will be question answer round, a kind of interaction round where I'll be asking questions on pertaining to your requirement, to be very specific, and with his expertise, Dr. Chowdhary will be sharing his experience. All right. So during the discussion, if you found any doubts, suppose the kind of point we're discussing, you have any doubts or any questions, you can post that in the chat box. Is that clear to you? Post that in the chat box. And every 15-20 minutes, I'll keep picking up questions and I'll give it to him so that he can respond to your question. Is that clear? So in that way, let's begin. And you keep posting your questions. My first question, Dr. Gopal, welcome to this talk series. And I'm so happy to have you here for the first series talk. So biotechnology. Sir, I have counseled many students. Few students come up and ask me, sir, what is biotechnology? And how do we proceed? What is biotechnology all about? And I don't know exactly what it is all about. What's the scope? Sir, in short, if you can introduce biotechnology to the students, please.
Thank you, Jasovan sir. First of all, thank you. Thanks a lot for inviting me for this talk. And good afternoon, students of ODM Public School. And thanks a lot to CareerX for inviting me for this talk. So yeah, coming back to the question, what is biotechnology? So I'll be very, very frank. I'll not go with the textbook definitions, which all the students might be having mugged up in their brain, and they'll remember better than me. So I'll definitely not go with the textbook definition. I'll give you examples. So let's say, what is biotechnology? So in a very simple and crude form, applications of biology we call as biotechnology. Let's pick up an example. I'll pick up two very extreme examples. One is this one example everyone has seen in their home since their childhood. So making of curd or yogurt is also a simple process of biotechnology. It might seem a very, very simple process, but if you go outside India, it's a very big business. Making of curd, in India, it's a domestic thing. But if you go outside in the developed world, in European Union and US and Canada and those countries, it's a very, very big business. So it's a very simple process, but again, a part of biotechnology. And on the other hand, I'll give another example, which is very pertinent to the current situation, is the development of COVID vaccine. That's also part of biotechnology. So you have two extreme ends, a very simple science and a very complicated and high-end research science. So these all encompass the biotechnology. So having said that, I would like to give you a few more examples, like development of drugs, development of medical instruments, and related to all these kind of things, development of better crops for your consumption, even part of your cosmetics, that also comes into part of this. So it's a very broad field. So basically, application of biology we call as the biotechnology. So I hope I justified the question.
Absolutely, sir. So thank you so much. This is something which every student should know at the first go, the moment biotechnology triggers the brain, what exactly it is and what exactly do we pursue. So whatever questions I'll be asking today or anything we'll be interacting is completely out of my experience by interacting with the students. And these are all student specific questions. Now my question is this: majority of the students, they aspire for NEET, NEET for medical. And suppose somebody is not getting a good rank in medical. So can they find biotechnology as a suitable replacement for the medical degree?
Okay, yes, of course. Of course, biotechnology can be a suitable replacement for NET or medical degree. However, with my own experience, I would like to add here, we are in a biotechnology school, and I'm in this profession since, in this university since about 5 to 7 years. So we have students who come biotechnology as their first preference. They do not go even for the NEET or medical profession. They come as biotechnology as the first preference. Of course, if you want to go for the NEET and someone does not get a good rank or good institution, of course, biotechnology can suffice for your hunger for the medical field. Because at some point, you can always diverge and enter into medical field. Of course, it may not be a professional doctor, but of course, it can be related to those fields, so health professional. So I would say, yes, you can diverge to that.
All right. So everybody knows we go across different parental ideology. So especially wherever they send their students, their children, their wards, they have a feeling that, come on, engineering, medical, they are two big pillars of any career. Now somebody is saying that yes, they are aspiring for medical and they couldn't get a good rank. So how can we give confidence to the parents that yes, medical, biotechnology is a career which we can pursue. You can really prosper and do well in this industry. The message to the parents, please, sir.
Right. So, of course, when it comes to the parents, especially in an Indian scenario, medical and engineering has taken a front seat, and every parent whose kid studies science, they want them to choose either two of any of these, either medical or engineering. Yes, of course, if by some chance or some misfortune, the student does not get a good rank, and then let's say biotechnology is a second option. Now, why do I say it's a good option? Of course, one is time duration. The time duration required yourself to establish in a medical field is pretty long. While if you come to this conventional biotechnology science, it is relatively shorter. Second, anyone pursuing a biotechnology can end up in a good job after master's. So let's say master's is, 5 years plus the 12th, right? So if you go standard way, 3 years of bachelor's and 2 years of master, or if you go a separate way, BTech and MTech for 4 plus 2 years. So let's say 5 to 6 years, the student can end up in a good job. When I say good job, depending upon the qualification and depending upon the hands-on experience, the aspiring candidate can have a handsome amount of salary, even today's time. So I think in my opinion, it's a very, very good option. And second thing, it's a very good chance to study or work in our developed countries. Like, let's say if you want to go for European Union or American or other North American countries, it's a very, very good chance to work or study or work in those countries. So I think I would say it's a very good option.
As you have mentioned already, foreign countries. So another question pops up over a period of time. Sir, India में biotechnology के कोई career है क्या और बाहर जाना पड़ेगा? So can you please elaborate on this, sir?
Yes, this question I also get a very common key. What is happening in Indian scenario? Well, if you go 2 decades back, of course, biotechnology was in the backseat. Now, in the last 1 decade or 2 decades, it has changed a lot. And if you see the government policies, also they are trying to make it a big $1 trillion industry in India, and lot of impetus have been given to biotechnology industries. Now, coming back to the straight question, because parents ask, will they get a job? That is the first question, of course. Now, coming to that, there is no dearth of biotechnology companies related to biotechnology in India. And if there is no dearth of companies, those companies need people. Otherwise, who will run the company? It's a standard thing. If there are companies, you need human resources to run them. And who are the human resources? People like you who are graduating from these kind of institutions, and they would be getting recruited. So if there are companies, they require people. Who are the people? People like you. So definitely in India, I have a very good scope in terms of the working in biotechnology, or if you want to do a high-end research, of course, many Indian institutions have very good facilities where you can do high-end research as well. So I would say yes, of course, it's a very good scope, and it is the right time because everyone wants biotech to flourish.
All right, so thank you so much for enlightening us for this. My next query for biotechnology is, can you please guide that we have students in the entire participants here as well. The entry route, suppose somebody completes his 12th. Immediately at 12th, I would like to pursue biotechnology as a career. So what is the entry route? How do we start eligibility and a journey of biotechnology after standard 12th? If you can just guide,
Right.
please.
Of course. So I presume here everybody is, will be either 11th or 12th standard. So I'll take the entry route starting from class 12th. So going into the entry route, first you have to identify the institution, or let's say categorize the institution, because every institution or category of institution, they have a different way of entry. So let's begin with IITs. So IITs or NITs, you can go to BTech Biotechnology through IIT JEE. You can appear in the standard examination, national level examination. You can appear in that, get a rank, and get into the IIT or NIT BTech programs. You have NISER, National Institute of Science Education Research. They have an examination called NEST. It's called National Entrance Screening Test. So you can, after that examination, you can enter into the NISER. You have ICER. They also have an examination called ICER Aptitude Test. So these are annual examinations. You can appear into those examinations, and if qualified, getting a good rank, get admission. Then you have a handsome number of universities where biotechnology is offered, and most of them take admissions through JNU combined entrance examination, but that usually comes after bachelor's. So I'll not stick to that. So apart from NIT, IIT, NISER, ICER, you have universities, other universities, for example, KIIT. We have a BTech MTech dual degree course through which the entrance is called KIT entrance examinations. You have VIT, you have SRM. So these universities, they have their own entrance examination. You appear in the exam. If you get a good rank, you get admission. So it's a standard thing. University or institution, exam, rank, admission.
Right. So the programs which are offered in the field of biotechnology, can you please guide us?
Sure. So I'll begin first with those which can be used after 12th. So again, different types of programs are offered by different institutions. Now the framework may be same, but they have different names. So I'd like to take the names here because being a class 12 students, knowing the exact name might help with them. So if you go to IITs and NITs, they mostly go with the BTech and MTech programs. So BTech is is there a question or something? Okay, I think it's fine. Yeah. So IITs and NITs mostly go with the BTech and MTech programs. NISER and ICER, they mostly go with the either BSc, MSc or BS MS programs. IITs also have some very few IITs also have integrated MTech program where you have BTech plus MTechs altogether. Universities like KIIT, they offer a course called BTech MTech Integrated Program. So that is also after 12th. So these are kind of courses which can be opted after class 12th.
Right, done. So we already have set the foundation in terms of understanding the programs and the institutions and the eligibility. Now the biggest question come up. People ask, sir, if I pursue biotechnology, what exactly do I study? Suppose we are pursuing BSc followed by MSc, and what exactly is the syllabus? What exactly do we do? What are the subjects? How do we proceed? What are the projects? So something about that. Can you please elaborate on this?
Sure. Right. So it's a very, very broad field. Now you have to understand biotechnology developed, I mean, as I told you, biotechnology is basically applications of biology. So a lot of biology is involved, part of engineering is involved, of course, part of mathematics, physics, and chemistry is also involved. So it's a conglomerate science. Now, you will have some basic subjects, very, very basic subjects, for example, microbiology, cell biology, biochemistry, like that. These kind of basic subjects you will have. Then you have core biotechnology subjects, which which give exact the biotechnology knowledge, which can be used in that field. So let's say molecular biology, bioprocess engineering. The name itself subject has engineering. So bioprocess engineering, it will have biology plus part of engineering. So, then you'll have professional biotechnology subjects, for example, pharmaceutical biotechnology, food biotechnology, agriculture biotechnology, nanobiotechnology. If you do the master's, you may specialize in one of these fields as well. Then you'll also have some engineering subjects as well. Let's say chemical engineering, part of electrical engineering. And in the first year, you always study these foundation courses like mathematics required for biology, physics required for biotechnology, chemistry required for biotechnology. So these are the basic courses that you need to study. And as I told you, it's a very conglomerate science which involves biology and other science as well.
All right, sir. A question always triggers: only biology enough, or mathematics is also required to pursue biotechnology?
Okay, so biology is, by eligibility, biology is enough. But having said, the knowledge of mathematics is appreciated because, again, it's an engineering subject. So basic knowledge of mathematics is always appreciated. So do not discard the mathematics as some cornerstone. Have basic knowledge. So that will help. That will help you to excel.
All right, understood. Sir, biotechnology has two different programs. It's offered by BTech in biotechnology and BSc in biotechnology. So what's the basic difference in terms of subject to study in both the domains?
So yes, so BSc and BTech. So the course which has BTech will have some sort of engineering flavor. And the course which is biology, which will have pure biological flavor. So that's the only basic difference. Let's say if you are doing BTech, you may be having chemical engineering, you may be having bioprocess engineering. While doing in the BSc, you may not have these engineering flavored subjects. So that's the only big difference.
So do you recommend students to pursue masters followed by BSc to really prosper in this career, or BSc is enough or BTech is enough?
Yes, I'll be very, very honest. It is not easy to get a good job with a bachelor's degree in biotechnology. So it is recommended to have, I'm talking about Indian scenario. So it is recommended to have a master's degree onto you to end up in a good job. So a good paying job. So it's better to have a master's degree.
Wonderful. That's very clear with your discussion, sir, because somehow Google has very diluted information. Some people say something, Quora says something, somebody picks up something out of it. So getting an expert on the floor is always a pleasure and always a blessing. And that's what you're making it very clear to it. Some people ask, now, sir, when it comes to job, now pursuing biotechnology, I do think some skill sets are also involved. A student should look at his skill set, his potential, his abilities before going for it. It's just that they couldn't crack medical. It's just that they do not like medical. There is a career called biotechnology. Shall I pursue this? So what should be the ideology or the approach to pursue this? Just like it comes my way, I do it, or I should look at some skill set which I should have and I passionately pursue it so they can do well in the future.
Well, that's actually very difficult question. And I'll take a little bit time to answer this. So since you mentioned about skill set, now skill set is entirely dependent upon the job. Now, what kind of jobs are available in this field? So there are plenty of jobs, but I'll categorize them into three different categories. One is field job, one is laboratory-based job or laboratory-based job or inside the building-based job, and one is a desk job. So field job is like mostly linked with the business development, sales, business development kind of job. Those are called the field jobs. Laboratory-based jobs, R&D, quality control, these kind of jobs are called as laboratory-based job. Let's say production is also a part of job. And then you have a desk job, where you talk about the customer support, technical writing, these kind of things. One thing is common in all of these kind of jobs. Person should have sound technical knowledge. So there is a misconception that I'm in the business development, I need not to be sound technically. That's a very wrong conception. If the person is technically not sound, she or he will not be able to convince the other side. So sound technical knowledge, which is very, very common to all the domains of biotechnology. So that is the most important skill set which I would recommend to everyone to have. That while studying, during studying, post-study, the person must have sound domain knowledge. So that is the biggest skill set I would like to say that the student should have.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So entrance examination. The way we have for engineering, JEE main and JEE advanced. For medical, we have NEET. So do we have any national level entrance examination, especially for biotechnology? Or depending on institutes and private institutes, they have their own entrance examination. So it's a little confusing. Many options are there. Can you please streamline to this and let students know that, yes, these are specific you should focus at?
Sure. So as I mentioned, NITs and IITs will take through JEE. So that's the standard examination. NICER will take through NEST. ICER will take through IAT. Apart from that, the standard universities as of now, many of them may not have any entrance examination, but the private universities, they always have entrance examination. For example, VIT have their own, SRM, they have their own, KIT have their own KIT examinations. So these are the kind of some, let's say, these are held at the national level. So we can call them as a national level examination. So I would recommend the student to identify the institutions first. What kind of institution you want to go, and then focus on the examination. And while identifying the most important point that which institution I shall go, the student must see the laboratory facility. How is the laboratory facility is there in that institution? Because it's a lab-based science. Nothing can be done sitting at the bench. So this is something which I would recommend to the students.
So laboratory, it should be the prime criteria for choosing your college. That's what you said.
Yes.
Wonderful. Students usually ask, sir, if I pursue biotechnology, shall I go for a job or go for a research? Job in the sense, especially in the field of job where I can apply my things, or I'll go for the further research. So on what criteria so would you recommend students that, yes, if you have these qualities, if you think like this, you should go for research. And if you have this, you should go for jobs exclusively.
Well, instead of qualities, it primarily shall depend on the interest. Because both of them, there's a misconception amongst the students, even at the master's level. They think that research is more, let you more, have to work more, and in the job it's a 9 to 5 or something like that, or 10 to 4. That's a misconception, my dear students. Everywhere you have to work equally. And in today's cutthroat scenario, freshers have to work. Very yesterday, we had a discussion with HR professional, and she said that don't ask questions of work-life balance. That does not exist for the freshers. So forget that this, if I choose an industry, I have less work, or if I choose a research, I have more work. No, it entirely depends on your research. Sorry, on your interest. If you want to do a research, go for it. If you want to end up in an industry, go for industry. In industry also, you can do research. There is R&D. After getting a PhD, you can join an industry. We have examples of students who finishing PhD join the industry. Somebody, for example, worked in the industry for some time. Let's switch. They came back to university. So these kind of parallel switch is always available. But to ask your heart and ask your brain, what do you want to do? So instead of more work, less work, or those kind of complications, go for the interest. But I have an interest in research, I'll go for the research. I want to work. Let's say I just want some work, I'll work. So go for a job. So that's entirely up to you, interest.
Thank you so much, sir. And my quick message to the students who are already here as participants. So far, whatever doubts you have, you can please post your questions in the chat box. One of the students asked a question, Swati Sarupa Sahu, can a student pursue biotechnology with subject combination of PCB? Of course you can. That's what sir has just said. You can do that. But pertaining to this biotechnology field, if you have any question, I'm trying my best to cover everything which usually pops up in your mind, because I'm here playing a role as a student. Completely, I am a student here completely. So I'm asking those questions which usually triggers. And I believe your maximum question will be answered. If at all I miss out something, please feel free to post. And anyway, we'll have a question answer round towards the end for 5 to 10 minutes. We'll have it as well. But keep posting so that your questions would get answered in the meantime. So again, on behalf of students, my question to you is that affordability is a factor for when it comes to economic condition. So what is the range starting from central government, starting from state government to the private universities? How does it start? How much do I need to spend for this education for biotechnologies? Minimum to a maximum range, if you can just guide, please.
So I presume you are asking about the annual fee structures.
Yes, fee structures, sir. Excellent.
Right. So IITs, NITs, they all are government-sponsored institutions, but again, their fees have increased lately. So if I'm not wrong, they range from 1 lakh per annum to 1.5 lakh per annum, something like that. Some place may have 80,000 per annum. So let's say a 5-year course. Let's talk about a 5-year course, BSc, MSc, or BTech, MTech, something like that. Somewhere between, let's say, 4 to 10 lakhs. And if you go to a good private institution, they might have a little bit higher fees. So somewhere between, let's say, keep a bottom limit at 4 to 5 lakhs to 2 to 15 lakhs. So that's the fee range, I would say. However, if you go to nicer ICER, their fee range is very, very minimal, like almost nothing. So it depends. So, but that number is very, very less. When NICER would take 10, 15 students, ICER will take 10, 15 students like that. So that number is very, very less. So what the biggest fee range I said is for the mass, like, majority of the students, because these ones, they take the maximum number of students. So again, 4 to 5 to, let's say, 12 to 15 lakhs. That will be the standard range.
So students who are watching now and students will be watching later, for them, this clear instruction is that starting from 4 lakhs till 15 to 16 lakhs for pursuing these courses for the 5 years, which you need to spend. So be clear about it, sir.
If I may add something here, sorry. So this is not only the fee range for biotechnology, I think it's the fee range for every course that you're going to pursue, whether it's an mechanical engineering, computer engineering, or something. It's more or less the same. So
this any kind standard.
Of exactly any kind of tech course you're going to pursue is the standard fee range.
I understand. Set of questions for you already in the chat box by Rijul Panda from standard 9th, because we have students here from standard 9th to standard 12th. And being inquisitive, she has asked a question. Good afternoon, sir. So my question is that what offers more opportunities pursuing BTech or MSc?
Okay, so if I understood the question correctly, that you are asking, Rijul, that what more opportunities I will have if I do MSc over BTech. Is that right? I think so. That's the correct
exactly, sir.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I think in the beginning, I told that in Indian scenario, getting a good job in biotechnology field after bachelor's is little difficult. So usually industries prefer to have masters. So if you have a master's, you will have more options. In BTech, if you do a BTech, you'll have very limited options. So if you do and limited growth as well. I mean, you don't think only for the first few years, you think for the whole life. So if you have masters, you have more options, and second, you'll have better growth. So that's the thing you can have.
So masters is a master pursuit.
I would
Right.
recommend, yes, you have to have
Whether it is MSc or MTech, so masters is a must.
masters
Right,
is preferable, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So one more question by Divyanshi. Divyan says the questions are subjects like physics and chemistry are so important to pursue biotechnology, or only strong biology and basic knowledge in maths is enough?
It's a standard question which I get for almost 80% of the students who come to us to study BTech and Tech dual degree biotechnology, that the knowledge of chemistry, physics is required or not. Well, chemistry, physics is required, but not as much as the required by the civil engineering or computer engineering or other engineering fields. But yes, basic knowledge of chemistry is definitely required. Chemistry is definitely required. And of course, basic knowledge. I'm not saying you need to have a champion in the physics, but a very basic knowledge of physics and a very basic knowledge of mathematics shall be there. And many parents have this question that my son or my daughter that did not had mathematics in the 12th, how would she cope up? That's the question that has bothered not only the parents, not only the students, but also the policymakers and the university heads as well. So what's the solution? There is something called as the bridge course. So imagine I do not had a mathematics, still I need to understand. I'll have a bridge course offered by the university. For example, we offer bridge course in biology. Who did not had biology in the 12th, for them we offer bridge course in biology. Who did not had maths, we offer bridge course in maths. So these are basic courses where you get basic information which can be helpful for to pursue your mainstream study. I hope I justified Divyanshi.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. I think she has understood, Divyanshi. You can respond in the chat box if you have understood. Sambit Kumar, he has a question. He is straight to the point. Sir, if I will go for a quick job in biotechnology, what should I have the minimum qualification?
So quick job means I did not get what do you mean by a quick
but
job?
I would simplify. I have understood him. He's trying to say that I don't want to spend a lot of time in studies. So what's the minimum qualification I should go for so that I can immediately land up in a job?
After BTech, you can get a job. After BTech, you can get a job. Of course, you will get a job. But as I told you, you have limited options and limited growth. But of course, you can get a job. It's not impossible. It's possible to get a job.
The same applicable to BSc as well?
Little difficult. Honestly, little difficult.
So BTech is preferred than BSc when it comes to quick job.
Yes.
As for
yes,
some.
in the industry, for a job, BTech is preferred. Yes.
Students have another question, because with a span of 4 or 5 years, there are many multiple professionals and experts. They will come, they will have a seminar, webinar, they'll discuss about the career, industries. What kind of industries do students of biotechnology see themselves in? That if I do pursue biotechnology, what are the diverse industries where I can see myself working there? So can you please enlighten on this, sir?
Right. So that's actually a very interesting question. What kind of industry I can go for? So in a common notion, people link biotechnology with the pharma world. And that's not very wrong. If you see today's biotechnology revenue generation in India, 60% is by pharmaceutical companies. So that is one of the biggest branch. Pharmaceutical companies, you can get into job, of course. Food biotechnology companies, you can get job. Environmental biotechnology companies, FMCG groups like Nestle, Godrej, they're FMCG companies, you can get job. Agricultural companies, beverage development companies. There are some scientific writing companies. They have something called as CRO. We call them as the contract research organization. They have developed in last decade, voraciously they have developed. So you can get jobs in those kind of companies. And lately, a new stream is developing called as molecular diagnostics. Like COVID is part of that. So molecular diagnostics companies are coming up in a big way. So these kind of companies, you can get job. Data analysis companies, biological data analysis companies, you can get job. So I would put in a way, any company which has anything to do with the biology, you can find yourself in there. So options are there, a lot of options are there. So there is no dearth of options if the person is qualified and has the right skill set.
Done, sir. Sir, thank you so much for this information. Biotechnology in association with, what's the connection of biomedical, biochemical? Because we have a separate branch as well, biomedical engineering, biochemical engineering. How they are different from biotechnology? Can you please differentiate?
Yes. So let's say biotechnology is a, if you make a let's say Venn diagram. So the bigger circle is biotechnology. Biomedical is a small a portion of that. So let's say biomedical field. So I'll give an example. You go to a doctor, they give you a drug or they give you a medicine. Who's developing those medicine? So this comes from these biomedical professionals. The research is being done in some laboratory and that goes to a company, they are developing it. Same, I'll take the example of COVID vaccines. First vaccine that Moderna and Pfizer companies that developed. So that came from a laboratory which was doing research in the biomedical field. So let's say biotechnology is the bigger circle. Inside that, biomedical is a smaller circle, biochemical is a smaller circle. So these all encompass and makes biotechnology.
All right, that way. It's very clear. Sir, when we go and search in Google, and I don't think we get this clarity, when the kind of clarity we're giving. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here once again.
Thank you.
Swati Swarupa Sausi has a question, same question which you just mentioned. Do we need to drop a year to get this bridge course of maths bio before BTech or MSc, which you just mentioned?
Okay, no, definitely not. Definitely not. You need not to get a drop. I'll give an example. Let's say you take admission in, say, October 2021, and you do not have a mathematics. So let's say you take admission in X university or X institution. They will offer a bridge course. Those bridge course will run for a month. So the first month of your admission, you can take that bridge course. So you need not to drop a year. These bridge courses are very, very small, maybe one credit course or 1 or 2 credit course, or may not be any credit as well, depending upon the universities. But these are very small, short-term courses. So you need not to drop a year at all. No, don't think about that. No.
All right. Sir, in the meantime, let me respond to one of the questions in the chat box, which is not really relevant to biotechnology, but I should answer because they have asked a question. And question by Rajashri is, Rajshri, yes. Sir, I would like to ask how many years would it take to complete the study of medical to become a surgeon? See, Rajshri, it's very simple. Sir, I'm just taking a pattern from this and I'm just explaining to them. Rajshri is very simple. First of all, understand, be very practical. Before I tell you anything, first of all, if you're pursuing medical, 2 things very important. First of all, you should have a service orientation. Until you have a service orientation to serve the patient, serve the country, serve the society, probably may not be an impactful doctor in the future. Number 1. Number 2 is you need to be very much patient, because now if I start making you count years, MBBS 5.5 years, PG 3 years, 8.5 years. Some people go for double PG before they go for before pursuing surgeon. So in that case, if you go by minimum, is 8.5 years. If you talk about complete journey, starts from 10 years to 12 to 13 years. Then only you can become settled as a doctor from a different degree all format. All right, dear. And for that, you have to appear the entrance examination like NEET. This is such an examination which is centralized, and with this course, everywhere you can take admission. All right. So I believe I could answer you. Divyanshi has a question, sir, for you. So what kind of work we will be doing if we go for a desk job or a field job in biotechnology? like in research job, we will be researching in our field, but what we'll be doing in desk and field job in biotechnology.
Right, Divyanshi, good question. So begin with the field job. Field job is something called as the business development. Now, what is the meaning of the word business development? Let's say you talk about a biotech, any company which has, let's say, developing some testing kits. Let's say COVID testing kits. Let's say you need to, as a business development, you need to identify first thing, who are my competitors. Let's say you are working in a company X. We identify, okay, A, B, C, D, they are my competitors. How will I pitch my product as compared to them? So you have to find out some pros and cons. Then you have to find out what are the places where I can have my product launched. So you have to make these kind of plannings. You have to make presentations to the clients. Clients can be your individual hospitals, governments, big corporates, anybody can be your client. So you have to make presentations. You have to make strategies. Strategy making is a big part of the business development. So this is what happens in the business development. Then comes, as I told you, customer support or technical support. These are called desk jobs. Let's say you sold the kit. Fine. Let's say I am a scientist for COVID testing. I am using your kit. I have a problem. I developed a problem, right? It's same thing as that you bought a television, it's not working. You go to the shop and say, hey, your television is not working, help me. Same thing happens with the kit. I bought, let's say, 1 lakh kits from your company. Some problem happened. I'll go to you, Divyanshi. This kit has this problem. How do I solve? Who will solve? Your technical support team. So you will be connecting your client with the technical support team that, hey, you have made a mistake here. Do change like this or do like, a lot of these things will happen. So they will advise them. This is one sort of technical support. Another sort of a desk job is called as data analysis. With time in last 1.5 decades, getting a lot number of data in biology. So you need somebody to do that analysis, data analysis. So this data analysis have developed, it's a very, very new kind of job. It has developed in last 5 to 10 years. And 10 years is a short time in biology, remember that. So it has developed, and people like you who has strong background of biology and sort of mathematics, they do this kind of data, big data analysis, which require knowledge of some computer software as well. And since you asked this thing, this data analysis is one of the very high paying jobs at this moment, very, very high paying job. Why? Because this requires a very, very unique combination, which is very, very rare. What combinations? Sound knowledge of biology, sound knowledge of computer programming, and sound knowledge of statistics or maths. You can understand there are very few people who have these kind of combinations. So if you are good in these things, this is one thing you can go for, because this is a very, very high paying job. So I hope I made clear that what kind of desk or field job you can have in biology.
Indeed, sir, indeed. Indeed, it was very, very clear. I believe students have got the right information, what they are looking for. One more question for you, sir, from Swarup Mohanty. Can PCBH, H being home science, combination of subject eligible for biotechnology course at IIT?
I presume PCB is physics, chemistry, biology.
Yes, and H for home science.
H for home science. To my opinion, you are eligible, but you have to crack the entrance.
Entrance is important.
Yeah, entrance is important. Even without biology, you can appear, but you have to crack the entrance. So it's all about cracking the entrance. See, there are two things. One is I like and I'm capable. I may like to drive a Rolls Royce, but I'm not capable. Why? Because heavy, expensive. So capable and like. So you need to make a distinction. But of course, what you are like, you can be capable of that. So try working towards that. That's my advice.
So having biology as one of the subject combination is not mandatory for going for pursuing biotechnology. I believe I have to crack entrance examination for that. Right, sir?
Right.
All right. So two very, very crucial questions. Assuming out of my interest area, I developed my interest that I would go for research because I'm investigative, I have patience, I'm very analytical, and I have good knowledge in data. So analytics. So I thought of going for research. Now, can you please guide me that how can I really do well in the field of research? My journey in the field of research, so that I can get settled as a research professional.
Right. To be a research professional, a basic degree is PhD, right? So, and that is after masters. Now, don't take PhD as a study, take PhD as a job. Because PhD is going to take somewhere between 3 to 5 years, depending upon the country and place, it's going to take 3 to 5 years. During that time, you are paid, and you are paid good. It's not a paltry sum of money, you are paid good. If you see the current government of India fellowship, that is also very, very good. If you go abroad, it's a good money. So take PhD as a job, first thing. So to be as a research professional, you have to have a PhD, that is the basic degree. And then to excel in that, usually people do postdoctoral research. After that, you can work as a scientist or a researcher in a university, organization, industry, anywhere. Now, at your level, like currently, let's say talk about 11th, 12th students. If someone thinks, yes, I am cut out for that, I am cut out for research, what can I do right now? Okay, I'll again explain this with examples. So for example, in our school of biotechnology, we have some students coming from nearby schools. Some students come from KIT International, and there's a DAV school, some place they come. They think that they have some ideas and they want to work on that. So usually what they do, they start. Of course, at 12th you cannot have a lot of scientific knowledge, but still those students make some small projects, very, very small projects in the science with the help of some of our professors, and many of them have won at the national level as well. I myself has guided some of those projects from international school. So if you think you are cut out for that, your journey will be BTech, MTech, PhD, or BSc, MSc, PhD. And once you get the PhD, you have enough ideas. And if you want to start having a flavor from now itself, of course, you can talk to your teachers, you can talk to your sirs, they can talk to the nearby institutions. Let's say they can talk to our head of the school or like that. So this is how you can start developing an interest in the research itself now. But then basic degree is again a PhD.
Wonderful. So PhD is the minimum we need to go for if you really want to go for research. And I have seen people that have done double PhD also.
Yeah.
That's what I have seen as well. That's wonderful. So quick questions which students need this. Ultimately, it boils down to the money I earn after pursuing so much. I've spent a lot. I have spent my time. I've spent my money. I've invested a lot. So what's the standard and average salary which I receive, or CTC, cost to company? If you can just guide us.
Yes. So whatever salary I'm talking is today's point. Like in 2021, those who have passed masters in 2021, you will be passing 5 years from now. So average salary, I'll not go the highest one. I'll say the average salary will be 4 LPA per annum. Highest, it can go 13, 14, 15. So this is what I'm talking about, which our students who are passing out from here, they are getting. If you compare the comparative institutions, more or less the same. Average 3.5 to 4, and max it can go 13, 14, 15 like that.
So the range of salary that is cost to company annual CTC ranges from 3.54 lakhs to taking beyond, so 13. And I'm sure that there must be opportunities more than 13 as well, depending on some companies.
Yes,
very
those
rare,
are like rare opportunities, of course, yes.
Subhalakshmi has a question for you, sir. So how would I know that, yes, I'm capable of getting into this biotechnology field without any confusion?
Well, that's a difficult question for me to answer. But again, Subhalakshmi, if you think that you like biology, capable, fine. If you like biology, you would be capable. I mean, if you join a good institution and if you like biology or like biology and allied subjects, you can go through it. It's not a big problem. It's just another subject, and human brain is capable of handling many complex things. So it's just another subject, just another science. You can easily cope up with that. So if you like it, go for it.
All right. I hope Suvalakshmi has got the answer. A question like choosing places. In Odisha, suppose I would like to pursue biotechnology in Odisha. So please guide me. What are the colleges, institutions I should go for? And if outside Odisha, which are the different places? I mean, states I can go for pursuing biotechnology. And if outside India, that's abroad, what are the countries where I should find my fortune? Please, over to you.
Right. So I'll again give institutions which are applicable to plus 12th onwards, not graduation onwards.
Correct.
So first, let's take a Indian scenario. You can have IITs, but not all IITs offer. There are around 28 or some IITs, not all of them offer biotechnology. 8 to 10 will be offering biotechnology. So let's say IITs, starting with IIT KGP, Kanpur, Delhi, Guwahati, IIT Roorkee, all these, they offer biology or biotechnology or allied subjects. Now, if you search with the keyword biotechnology, you may not end up in the biotechnology department of IIT because the names may be different. For example, IIT Delhi biotechnology department is called as Biochemical Engineering and Biotechnology. So similarly, they will have different names, but they are somewhere linked to biotechnology. So you have IITs and NITs, but not all of them offer biotechnology. Keep in mind. You have NICERs and ICER, but again, their department names are not biotechnology. It's School of Biological Sciences. Again, so keep the names intact. Then you will have some central universities which will be offering BSc in biotechnology. So let's say MS Baroda, Hyderabad, University of Delhi. These are some central universities which will be offering you biotechnology. And then you will have other universities, private institutions like KIT University or VIT, SRM. They are offering biotechnology, good biotechnology courses. So you can choose from these conglomerate, you can find your target and go for it. Coming back to Orissa, okay, again, you have IISER Berhampur, you have NICER in Jatni, you have NIT Raulkela, IIT Bhubaneswar yet to offer a biotechnology, you have KIT, you have Ramadevi University, Utkal University. These are some universities or places which you can have biotechnology or allied courses. Outside India, after 12th, opportunities outside India are little less because outside 12th means it will be a bachelor's course, right? So of course you can go to bachelor's course. Then one thing is the problem is the language. So in that case, your options become limited. You can go to United States, you can go to Canada, you can go to Singapore, some of these countries because they have their language as English. So you can find out your options there. A big chunk remains closed. The European Union, of course, UK is one of them, which offers English. A European Union, majority of their bachelor's courses you may have in their own languages. So that's a limitation. However, that window opens when you are in the master's. So that's the international scenario.
A question for you, international scenario, we have got abroad students, you have got a clarity about abroad and India and Odisha. So find that out exactly what we'll be looking for. CareerX as a unit, we're always there. You have got already our email ID, you have got our number. You can connect anytime with us with a question, with your WhatsApp posts. We will respond to you. Me, Dalvinder sir, are always there to respond to you. This expert session will always help you to get a detail in clarity because you are directly listening from the horse's mouth. So that's something which will give you complete clarity about this area. A question by Sambit to you, sir. Sir, I'm good at biology, but somewhere I found myself weak in maths. So will I be facing problems for this in future while pursuing biotechnology?
Sambit, let's talk on a 10-point scale. Let's say maximum point 10. You say you are good in biology. Let's say out of 10, I give you 8 in biology. You consider yourself 8 in biology. If you give yourself 2 points in mathematics, you're good to go. You need not to have a very good grasp on math. Basic math knowledge will have. So I think if you have basic mathematics knowledge, you can go for that. And by saying that I'm not good in mathematics, there is no limitation that you will not be good. So if you take some classes, if you take some lessons, of course, you can develop that knowledge. But if you have basic knowledge, I think you can good to go. I hope I'm okay, Sambit.
Yeah. Absolutely, sir. So finally, few names which usually hire biotechnology students of companies, so that students are also uh, get an experience of knowing the names of the companies hiring us.
Okay, company name, sorry. Okay. So what kind of companies hiring biotechnology students? So I think I'll put them in the
Order.
categories. Let's say pharma companies. You have GSK, Lupin, Cipla, Biocon, Mankind Pharma. They come in pharma. They'll hire you. You have FMCG companies, Nestle, Godrej. They will hire you. Agricultural companies. You have fertilizer companies like Nagarjuna Fertilizer, seed companies, Mahaiko, Bayer. It's a very big international conglomerate, US based. They hire. You have CROs like contract research organizations called Anthem Bioscience, SiteSpace. They hire. Intellectual property, another very new domain coming in the biotechnology. They hire. StellarX, IDS Infotech. They hire. Beverage companies, Coke, Kingfisher. They hire. IVF companies, in vitro fertilization. They also need embryologists. They also hire from biotech like Indira IVF, Neelkant IVF. Enzyme development companies, Novozyme, these kind of companies they hire. Molecular diagnostics companies like MedGenome, Redcliffe Life Science, they will hire. Vaccine development companies, Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech, these kind of companies will hire. Environmental biotech companies like Ramke, you might have seen in Bhubaneswar, they help, they take care of BMC waste management, they hire. Care India, they hire. So these are some company examples which I gave you who hire, and this all coming from my practical knowledge. Whatever companies I told you, 80% of them have taken students either from us. I mean, I have knowledge from our school only. So majority of them have taken students from our school. So I'm taking direct practical examples. So again, if you have skill set, job is not a problem. That is my take-home message.
Thank you so much, sir. And I believe that on behalf of students, I have covered almost everything in bits and pieces, the question which is supposed to be asked, especially while pursuing biotechnology. And I believe this session would be very much productive for the students who are watching now, will be watching it later. My final question to you as a professional, which I ask to everyone for the message, because every gentleman, every professional, they have their own journey of success. So this is not relevant to the question. This question is not relevant to this topic, biotechnology, but only to you as a person. Being a successful professional, sir, what mantras will you would like to share with the students that this is what I pursued, this is what I followed as my ideology, as my principles, and I became successful today. And however, this varies from person to person, but what was your recipe for success, sir? Please, for the students, sir.
Well, that's a tough question, I would say. And prospect of success varies from person to person and mouth to mouth. But let's say a very important thing, knowledge about your own subject. Whatever subject you are pursuing. Today, you are sitting in the biotechnology talk. Tomorrow, you may be sitting in some other talk. Whatever domain you pursue, the domain knowledge is very, very important. So make it a point that during your studies, you have acquired sufficient, or let's say more than sufficient domain knowledge. So that is one thing I always insist to the students, that develop sufficient domain knowledge. So that will help you to move further in your career, switch places, switch jobs, and maneuver in your career. So again, domain knowledge is a very, very important thing which you need to grasp during the course of your studies. And this is something which does not stop when you stop studies. This keeps on during your job as well, because things change, and especially biotechnology is a very, very volatile and changing, ever-changing science. So you need to on your toes to get your domain knowledge strong and updated. So that is my advice would be that keep your domain knowledge tight.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. We will go for a final question answer round. If anyone has anything, they will be unmuted and they would ask question to you if at all anything, because we're done with everything, total formalities of the session today. Just a last question if you can answer by one student, Divyanshi, and then we'll switch to question answer round and we'll close it. So Divyanshi has a question. Sir, I just said that if anyone is good at computer software, basic maths, strong biology, then the person is eligible for data analysis. So, sir, I think I'm a bit good at this all. So, am I eligible for it or not?
Well, eligible is not the correct word. I would say good for that, suited for that. Why? Because that's a requirement of the job. So biological data analysis, as I told you, need to have a good biological knowledge. You need to have some specific computer softwares, something called as SAS and Python, which is required today. May be changed after 5 years, you never know, but that's the software requirement today. And of course, statistical knowledge. If you think you have these three things in your brain, in your fingertips, you are suited for that. And these data analyst jobs are on the higher end of the payment segment, as I told you. So if you think you are suited for that,
Gopal sir, you are muted.
sorry, somehow I got muted. Okay. So yeah, if you have these properties, you are made for that. But these kind of properties are rare, I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful session today. A great beginning of our talk series, because like this we'll be having multiple expert series, more than 20-30 careers. It's not only biotechnology, we'll have agriculture, we'll have medical, we have engineering is upcoming. We'll keep doing it at least twice in a week. Students, for your information, this window is open now, the floor is open. You are all unmuted. Anyone can unmute yourself and ask a question. If anyone, please raise your hand. If you directly want to interact with Dr. Chowdhary for any particular question. And we have answered all your questions, which is there posted in the chat box. And I tried my best on behalf of all of you to ask those questions, which probably will give you handy information related to biotechnology. So waiting for 20 seconds more. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand so that I can allow you to ask the questions. Either anyone or we're done with this. Waiting. Dalminder sir, जरा उनका email ID और number फिर से दे दो for the students so that they can message us or email us anything whichever they would like to in the future.
Sambit,
Yeah, Sambit, yes, you can unmute and ask your question, please. Sambit.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Actually, sir, as I told that I need a quick job. Sir, what should I follow? Actually, what should I follow from 11th so that I will be getting a good job in biotechnology after BTech? So, what should I be following?
So you should find out the institution who are offering BTech biotechnology.
Yes, sir.
Mostly,
Yes, sir.
target IITs or NITs. They are offering BTech biotechnology. What you should follow? You should follow what kind of questions they are asking in the entrance examination, and you should follow how to solve them, because you need to get into that door. So to get into that door, you need to clear the entrance examination. So your mantra should be, that's where I have to go, and these are my questions or knowledge I need to know. So that's the thing I will tell you, that try to solve the questions of that is being asked in the examination, gather the knowledge, crack the exam. That's the thing. Is that okay, Sambit?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any more questions? Anyone would like to raise your hand for the question? These opportunities will not get many a time. When we call invitees, experts from outside, and they come and they share their experience, their wisdom they are sharing. This is the sort of information they are sharing, their wisdom they're sharing. So take advantage of it. We are always there for you anyway. All right, I believe, sir, maximum questions are answered. And students, quickly letting you know about the future programs, especially on the platform of CareerX. Like this every Sunday. In fact, we're going to double this. So after October, in fact, October onwards, we'll be having 2 sessions in a week. Unlike we used to have every Sunday, because we have a lot of things to cover. There are more than 20-30 experts will be coming, and if you just wait for Sunday, probably it will not end up, because immediately after this we'll have, once we complete this expert talk series, we'll invite universities, university like Nasim Munji, university like Symbiosis, university like OP Jindal, other universities. They would come, they share their experience and what exactly they're looking for, their admission opportunities, and we'll also invite universities abroad. It may be one from Canada, one from US, UK, Germany, we'll have Australia, we'll have from New Zealand, South Africa if possible. So we'll get everybody, one representative, they will discuss with you, so that keep attuned. Aapka padhai kar rahe ho, karo, everything. But these sessions, trust me, why are you not able to take a decision? Why parents are not able to take a decision? Because simply one cause and a factor, that you do not have information. And this is set up. Let me tell you, ODM is such a school which has taken this initiative for all of you. Not a single school so far in such a rigorous way is doing it in Orissa, not even in India. You might have seen people coming to you and talking to you, just 1-2 sessions, kafi hai, that 1-2 drama, but that's not like that. Here we're talking about, we're doing it very exhaustive way. And we are making a point, since July 1st, we have been doing it every weekend, every Sunday, we make it a point and we do it for you. So please pay respect to that. Whoever is interested for the special area, biotechnology जो interested थे वो आ गए, जो नहीं आ पाए आप बाद में सुन सकते हो, मैं live already पढ़ा हुआ है. And please ensure that in the future, whatever post we'll be sharing every week, stay attuned and please be a part of it. So would like to end it up, Gopal sir. Dalvinder would like to give it a word of thanks to Gopal sir, please, so that we can wrap it up. Over to you, Dalvinder.
Before that, if I may just add one thing, 30 seconds.
Ji sir, please.
So students, I have seen that there's a problem amongst the students that they think, whether can I do it? Whether can I do it? Let me tell you guys, Indian students are very smart. I have experience of teaching in more than 3 to 4 countries, and Indian students are very smart. So don't think that can I do it? You can do it. So don't worry about that. So that's the thing I want to tell you in the end. Thank you, sir. Please go ahead.
I wish this statement could have been made on 15th of August, sir. We could have felt more patriotic. But anyways, it came today, August, and I'm so happy with this. Dalvinder sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, my dear students, for your patience, and Gopal sir for giving us your valuable time to imparting students with such a valuable points and exactly their queries related to biotechnology, which is a rising career in India. And most probably the doubt like maths and biology should be as an optional or a compulsory subject. I think students have got a clear idea about that, because whenever I counsel, this is the first question comes down, sir, I don't have mathematics, I don't have biology. So you made it very clear and crystal clear to them. And at last, you also shared the company's name. So students, it's for students, you have given a clear information on that exactly there are companies are available in India who are hiring in biotechnology. And thank you so much, sir, for your precious time and for this knowledgeable session. That's all from me.
Thank you.
Dr. Chowdhary, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you, sir.
We'll stay in touch with you in the future for any kind of sessions further.
Thank you. Sure.
Namaskar, students. Students, thank you so much for coming. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye. We call it a day with this.